Herzlich willkommen zum Podiumsgespräch mit einem der wichtigsten, größten europäischen Regisseure. Ich bin wahnsinnig froh, dass er hier ist bei uns beim Filmfest München. Bitte begrüßen Sie ganz herzlich Costa Gavras.
Hello, thank you very much.
If I may say so, you have always been starting with, not with your very first film, but with your trilogy, Z or Z, and L'Aveu and État de siège, to be sort of a chronicler of, a cinema chronicler of current events, political climate, topical political things. Would you also see the new film, Le Capital, in that kind of cinema?
No, first, I never organized a program of making movies the way you just said it. I just make movies about my feelings, about this and that story, and every story has a different beginning, different way of being and existing. This one, for example, I started almost 10 or 12 years ago thinking to make a movie about money. How money is the role it plays in our society, how money, which is absolutely a necessary element in our society to communicate, and at the same time, it's a kind of, it's the most it's a way to corrupt people very easily, deeply corrupt people. So that kind of changed the psychology, changed everything. So that idea came to me, and I started trying to find a story. And I have some doubts for the level of which money, the money of rich people, the money coming from the banks, the money from the stockholders, and then I discovered a small French book written by a banker, Mr. Jean-Pierre Lefade, who ran the Crédit Lyonnais for several years. Today it's also still running another bank. And he wrote a small book called The Total Capitalism, in which he says the most extraordinary things about what's happening in the banks and the big companies of money.
So this book you are talking about gave you the background for your story?
He gave me yes, a certain kind of background. Or let's say he gave me the ethics, yes, or the non-ethics.
Non-ethics, yes.
And then I discovered the book by Osmond. Stefan Osmond used to be someone working on the money, on the big money society, and after several years he said, exhausted and disgusted, and he left and he wrote that book. And the book is very interesting. It was interesting. It's interesting because he has a character and the evolution of a character, starting very low and going very up. And so they gave me the possibilities to make that movie.
So in a way you combine those two literary sources.
In a certain way. And then a lot of elements in the book seemed to me a little bit excessive, so I tried to make a research, making people on the money people, and making also bankers, some of the important French bankers who accept to talk with me. And so I can say the book or the movie, it's of course a fiction, but it's also based essentially on the real situations and real characters. I will just to give you, if you see the book, we see the numbers of the salaries, all kind of numbers we have in the book. I gave the story, the script to read on a banker, and he said, your numbers are low, too low, we have to push them up. But I didn't do it because it was really an exaggeration for me.
So you wrote a script based on
that book. I adapted the session. I have to adapt that movie with.
And if you look at the story, it's almost like a classical gangster picture, if you want to see it that way, because in every classical gangster picture, you have the story of a normal guy being so ruthless that it's possible for him to rise to the top. That's the story of your film.
Yes, but there, in Gangsters, it's illegal. I'm fully legal. All my characters are legal. What they're doing, it's legal. And it's there, it's among us, and our lives depending on them.
Yes.
And we can see it everywhere today, especially some countries where everybody knows.
That's why it's even more frightening than a gangster picture.
Yes, because it's real.
What the film is also about is obviously capitalism, and that capitalism has now reached its most perverse form.
No, I wouldn't say so. The capitalism reached everywhere, even in China, and particularly in China, the full success. And we see the results, where the capitalism is in full success. We see the results in Spain, in Greece, in Portugal, in certain way in France, not in Germany, of course, because you're doing very well.
Don't let appearances fool you.
Not in China either, because they're doing very well, because there the capitalism is perfect. My feeling is the perfect capitalism. The dream of capitalism in China.
What made you decide to cast in your lead role one of the most well-known comedians in France? His name is Gad Elmaleh. He's not very known here in Germany, but in France he's a very well-known comedian.
Yes, because I would like to, while I was preparing the movie, I met, as I was saying, some bankers, and all of them, and one of them, one of the most important in France, they were so sympathetic, so seducing, so clever, so knowing everything. And I saw them speaking in television about the problems and giving perfect solutions or perfect directions for solutions. So I said, and then I knew also, I discovered that behind their politics, what they're doing, it was all the contrary. So I explained to Gad Elmaleh that situation. I said, you are very sympathetic. People go and see you in a movie, say, let's go and see. He's someone who will do something good. And then you will see. Because I would like to tell you this. I would like to make a movie not with a happy end, not either with solutions or whatever. I would like to make a movie where the audience at the end is disturbed. And I explained to him that I would like the audience to be disturbed at the end of the movie. What you do, what you say, and so forth. So he accepted, and I think I'm really happy with the results. Yeah.
Costa Gavras has worked with Jack Lemmon on a film called Missing. Because Costa Gavras has made a number of films in Hollywood. Well,
small
that's 4 more than most Europeans make in Hollywood. And he has made a film with another French comedian,
José Garcia,
He was in a film called Le Couperet.
Le Couperet, which means the axe.
Yes. Which is also a sort of a comment on the current crisis and
could say in certain way. Yeah.
So in a way, these films go together, Le Couperet and Le Capital. In a way,
I discovered that after people talked to me about that. I never thought about that.